about your own experience and
Yeah,
transition.
yeah.
What resonated most with you?
Oh, what resonated most? I think I will usually there are many things that I contemplate on more while editing, while working on the. I listen to the podcast. I mean, our conversation. I listened to it many times before it's even published. So while I'm doing this, I will remember even more things. But now, what I tell you that resonated, for example, first of all, your calm energy, and that I can also do the same whenever, like in any kind of situation I'm in life, like whatever I'm doing, either like let's say when I'm living my purpose and I have a clear mission and whatever it is that helps other with in their journey. As an example, many times someone could ask me a question that I supposed to know directly, could be my expertise, and in this moment, I don't have to directly say. I
Mm,
could just take a moment and then in this, maybe take a breath or anything, just like, have some space for myself before I respond or react in any way. So I know that I'm grounded and I'm talking, let's say, from my heart. I'm talking from my true self, because many times, like, the ego wants to jump in also and make sure that you are proving yourselves in a way.
yeah, yeah. What's the correct answer? How am I perceived versus how do I feel? Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, definitely. Nice. I didn't even realize this. What I do was like,
Yeah.
uh, but it's also the space you provide. Obviously, like there are times where you feel like rushed. Oh, I have to. Like my shoulders even went up as I'm saying.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, physicality is always showing it. No, it's like, oh, I have to like really answer right now, and but it's good to have this kind of platform and the space to be able to think a bit. And you also ask very interesting questions as well. So thanks for that. Maybe one thing, can I offer some
Yeah.
comment? Maybe it's just me. When I'm hearing like top three things, it's just the way my mind works. I don't think of top three. It's kind of when I answer questions or when I think, it kind of goes into a flow that gets associated with another thing, and maybe it is three things, but it makes
I know what I mean.
it's almost like, okay, what are
You're
the
not
three?
categorizing them or putting them into structure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Or I can do it afterwards, or as I'm writing, then after analysis. But as I'm speaking, it can be a bit difficult to say like one, two, three, unless I'm prepared. I like thought about it beforehand. Then it's a bit easier. Just a small comment from my side,
Yeah.
but I think it's still like worked out different. Yeah. So is this what you're doing now, full time, the podcast, and what is your journey now?
So the podcast on one side, the MBA on the other side.
Yeah.
I started actually, and this is something that is like every week I feel there's something new actually. So um and I'm taking my time, I'm making sure that I'm going in the right direction. Now I'm still in this phase where I'm still open to work again, but like, have be an employee. It is clear that is going in the coaching direction. And I started, for example, tomorrow I have a session, and the next week I started having sessions with either students or professionals. Until now, I haven't published anything, but I'm thinking also to even put it in the podcast or videos, like, small clips to say, starting with offering 30 minutes for people to, especially in this, like exactly what we were talking about, and this transition, how do they know their purpose, their values, their vision, their mission, especially their mission. But how, to come to the mission, you have to, you know know some things before in order to come here. And actually it's something that came to me without me asking, because in the university I had a conversation with the CEO. It was also as a podcast, and then he invited me to be a coach for the students.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
My purpose actually is to help people connect with themselves and with others. And it also always starts with being connected to myself, as you were saying. So how to live this, how to implement this? I saw there's like lots of disconnection, burnout. People don't feel listened to at work. For example, in Germany, over 50% of people have burnout. And as you said, it's even more with leaders actually. But but nobody is really giving, like, helping with the solution inside the companies with this connection most of the times. So HR, they don't really have a clear, most of the HR, they don't have a clear responsibility, like how to deal with this. The managers, let's say, they should do this, but usually they don't have time and they are burned out themselves. And the CEOs, of course, they cannot deal with all of this. So this is, let's say, the pain point. How important it is also for their profit. Like, this is the thing that you have to start with their mind, to tell them how much they are losing, how many sick leaves there are, and when people are disengaged, how much money they are losing every day, etc.
Turnover.
Yeah, turnover, the cost of
Like, if
turnover. I just listed one time after some quick search 9 reasons why people feel disconnected, and these 9 reasons are different. Someone could have 1, someone has 7, someone has 9, and most leaders, they have only one solution, one size fits all.
so you're already gonna coach a team soon or
So
members. You started already.
I started now individual, one-on-one
That
with some people. Yeah,
that's super- that's
yeah,
that's that, that's like you're like, okay, I thought about it and it comes and you're doing it.
yeah.
That's the because then we can't know what's far away when we're on the shore, right?
Mm,
We about doing it. I
mm,
find with leaders, really a lot of, even though they're burned out, they have a lot of pressure. However, most of the time it's still on them. Not that on them they're to blame, but on their energy, on how they are. It's like a balance when they know when there's clarity. There's a lot more clarity and peace in the team as well. How they build their relationships with the team members. They're also informal leaders. Very important. Key people, actually.
mm.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Is there any particular topic you want to? So you want to start with mental?
Yes,
That's right, like specifically.
yeah. I mean, if I tell you, I don't like to put lots of labels because this also could be understood differently. The word that I feel it is more like the resonates the most is, and my purpose actually is connection. Connection is like the opposite of separation. Like, not, when you know that we are all one. I'm not gonna go spiritual, of course, but when I have this in me, how to transfer that in a business language and help people be connected. And as I said, like, when you have the purpose clear, it will come with profit directly. So how to communicate this also to bring heart and mind together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this really beautiful book, You Belong, by Sebene Selassie, yeah, talking about this exact thing that there's so much separation and that's where a lot of the suffering comes. I mean, at the same time, I still think about it sometimes. Do you feel like it's a duty of a workplace to provide that? Like, of course, an ideal picture. I'm just thinking out loud. It would be nice if we come to work and we're all accepted and, and we all love each other and it's all this one big happy family. Sounds weird, like community creating business together. But knowing people, knowing how things are, is that really the duty of that place? I guess everybody wants different things.
I like the question, first of all. I like the question, and it's also important to ask myself, and um, it's also different when it comes from someone who's working on this. So you're not, a CEO says, I don't care about everything and I just want money. I would expect something like this from him, but someone who's already working with professionals to help them with their mental health, and then asking this question. Then I think about it again, it's not black and white.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think my question is a bit different from what a CEO would say. We're just here to make money, is to be functional as a company. I am agreeing with you. Like, how are we functional? How does this place serve us as individuals too? It's more like this mid path, like in Buddhism, they talk about this midway, uh, right? It's just like I see a lot of this. To be honest, perhaps I've had those wishes when I was younger for the workplace to fill all my needs, that kind of thing. Like, I have my best friends here and we do something together. And I mean, I think those places exist though, perhaps in smaller companies, usually smaller teams or like the small teams in big companies, we're all one little island as a group together and there's like, it can be fun to play with that. But at the end, it's our human need to have that connection. And that's why we're also seeing different modalities in psychology, in spirituality, in different approaches to life and philosophy become their own little islands of community and connectedness and philosophy, spiritual, you could say. Because, I mean, this is a bit of a, I don't know how much I want to touch on religion, but we're seeing it being less and less present
Mm.
in 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 life in Europe as well, like people moving away from it. So they want more like, but the need is still there, what you're saying. So to what extent work is a place for that?
Sometimes the question is more important than the answer. So I like the question. It is thought provoking, and the answer I might not have now, like complete, let's say, but it will come more in practice, I think. But it's important to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was working in one companies. Are you okay on time? I just had a thought.
Yeah. But I'm thinking in the end, if you like to mention something that you like, some of it could be mentioned in the podcast, I will keep it. In the end, it's like we will have time when we stop the recording, so it will upload just for each month.
Okay, no, I don't mind if it's recorded, and if it's interesting, you can just cut it if
Okay.
you want.
Okay.
I'm happy for all of this too. Yeah. Uh, yeah, no. What was I saying? Yeah, I know, like, if we just keep chatting, I'm okay if it's recorded, and then because sometimes they'll come out and you're like, oh, that was good, but
Uh,
I don't mind. No, like, kind of this constant fight between a lot of HR teams being like, no, we have to fight for mental health, and like, depending on the company.
uh,
And when was before I went to LND, I had a HR buddy talk to me. Like, I just chatted to this person about advice, and she was like, see, in this company, who does the HRO report to? Do they report to the CEO, or do they report to, I don't know, operations COO? Because in some companies, HR is purely payroll, all those things. Uh, and I see a lot more progressive companies have, the way I see it, have HR team is more operations, operational contracts, all that. And people and culture team that's more about learning, it's for the health. Of course, it's often a struggle to get the buy-in from all the leaders who are actually running the company. They're making profit, they're doing the sales, they're making the product, whatever it is. And then they're like, oh, why you come here and get into my thing? How do HR collaborate with the leaders in the team? And that's often challenging. And there's a different points there. And how do we put everyone as coaches on the same page? That at the end, this is good for everybody. And can you even like put everyone on the same page when people have different? Anyway, this is a whole lot of questions, right?
I think I'm gonna. I like your energy, by the way. I told you, I think many times that how calm you are And yeah, but I think I'm gonna sit calmly, happily, calmly after like for a bit. Yeah, to think, reflect on this.
Yeah. So you're already implementing the pause after the question, I see. No, no, I mean, I think this can ongoing discussion.